Alex Carter stood quietly in the shuttle as it landed on the alien world of Thalvara. He was not a soldier or a leader. He was just an engineer. Earth had sent him because of his calm nature and problem-solving mind. No one thought much would happen. It was only a simple peace mission. The planet was beautiful. The skies were purple and the air was clean. The buildings were tall and smooth, shining under two suns. Aliens with tall frames and glowing eyes watched as Alex stepped onto the platform. They wore long robes and had sharp faces. Their language was smooth but hard to understand. Thankfully, a translator was placed in Alex's ear. He was guided to a large hall made of crystal and silver. Inside, the royal family of Thalvara waited. At the center stood Princess Alira. She looked proud and strong, wearing armor made of gold and red stones. She did not smile. Alex bowed. The translator whispered, and he repeated the words he was told. The peace talks began. Everything was calm until the royal advisor handed Alex a small bowl with glowing liquid. The translator said it was a symbol of peace, and that drinking it was a sign of trust. Alex, thinking it was just a friendly gesture, took the bowl and drank. The hall suddenly became loud. Music played, and the crowd cheered. Flowers dropped from the ceiling. The queen stood up and raised her hands. The bond is made, she said. Earth and Thalvara are joined. Alex looked confused. He turned to the translator, who looked just as surprised. Lyra stared at him, eyes wide. She stepped forward quickly. You're taking me as your bride? Really? She said with a shocked voice. Alex blinked. What? No, I didn't know. I just drank what I was given. The queen smiled as if everything was perfect. The crowd kept cheering. Lyra grabbed Alex by the arm and pulled him aside. Do you understand what you've done? She asked, angry and confused. That was not just a drink. That was the bonding ritual. You accepted me as your mate. Alex stepped back. I didn't know. No one told me. That's your excuse. You just walk into another world and drink whatever's handed to you. Alex frowned. I trusted your people. They told me it was a peace gesture. Lyra crossed her arms. She was clearly upset, but she could see he was not lying. She sighed. Our laws are clear. Bonding cannot be undone unless the council agrees, and they never do. You have tied your life to mine. Alex sat on a bench nearby. His mind raced. So what happens now? Now, said Alira, we are married, and I am stuck with a human who does not even know our ways. He looked at her. I never wanted this, but I won't run away. If this is real, I'll face it. Alira narrowed her eyes. She expected him to beg or hide. Instead, he met her gaze without fear. She was not sure what to make of him. Later that evening, the court threw a feast. Music played and aliens danced. But Alex sat alone at the table, feeling out of place. Alira sat far from him, speaking with her warriors. A few guests came to greet him. Some laughed kindly. Others looked at him with cold eyes. One whispered to another, the human has no idea what he's done. Alex heard it. He stayed quiet but listened. He knew something deeper was going on. At the end of the night, Alira came to him. We will speak tomorrow. For now, rest. Remember this, human. You may have tied us together, but I decide if that bond means anything. Alex nodded. Fine. I'll prove I didn't come here to play games. They parted ways for the night, but something had changed. A small seed of something new had started. Not love, not yet, but something like respect. And on a world where honor meant everything, that was a beginning. The next morning, Alex woke up in a quiet room filled with soft blue light. The walls shimmered, and a strange plant near the window gave off a gentle glow. He sat up, still trying to understand what had happened. Married to an alien princess, it felt like a dream, but he knew it was real. A servant entered and gave him clothes that looked royal. Alex didn't like wearing them, but he had no choice. He followed the servant to the garden, where Princess Alira waited. She stood near a tall tree, arms crossed, looking at the sky. You're late, she said without turning. Sorry, Alex said. I didn't sleep well. She turned to face him. Neither did I. They walked through the garden in silence. Then Alira spoke. I have asked the council to cancel the bond, but they refused. Alex stopped. So we are really stuck like this? Yes. Unless one of us dies or the people demand it, the bond remains. Alex didn't reply. He looked at the plants around them. Some moved slowly, reaching toward the light. Everything here was strange to him. "I don't want to be your problem," he said finally. "You already are," Alira answered, "but maybe not in the way I thought." She began walking again. "You are not like the other humans I met. You are calm. You speak clearly. You do not beg or brag." "I'm not here to impress anyone," Alex said. Later that day, Alex was brought to the main court. Alira sat beside him, her face cold. A group of nobles stood before them. One of them, Lord Saran, looked at Alex with sharp eyes. "We do not want humans in our bloodline," Saran said. "This bond weakens our traditions." Alira didn't move. She stared at Saran. "The law is clear. It was done under our customs." "Then change the law," Saran said. Alex stood. "I didn't plan this, but I won't be pushed around. If you think I'm weak, test me. If you think I'm stupid, watch me learn, but don't treat me like dirt." The room went silent. Alira looked at him, surprised. The nobles stared. Saran said nothing. Then he turned and left. That night, Alira came to Alex's room. She stood at the door. "You spoke well today. They will test you more. You should be ready." Alex nodded. "I know. I will learn everything I can." She stepped inside. "I will teach you. Not because I want to, but because I need you to survive. If you fall, I fall too." They spent the next few days training. Alira taught him the basics of Thalvaran speech, body language, and customs. She showed him how to walk with purpose, how to greet nobles, and how to avoid disrespect. Alex worked hard, made mistakes, but he never gave up. Alira started to see something in him. He was not fast, but he was steady. He didn't lie, didn't try to please everyone. He just tried to do what was right. One evening, as they walked by the crystal lake, Alira said, "You have no power here, no name, yet you keep going." "Why?" Alex looked at the water. "Because running won't help. I'm here. I have to face it. If I do nothing, then I really am a mistake." Alira was quiet for a moment. Then she nodded. The next day, danger came. A group called the Iron Scale sent a message. They hated humans and any bond with them. They called Alex a threat to the future. Guards doubled around the palace. Alira was angry. "I knew they would try something. They want to scare us. Let them try," Alex said. "I won't run." Alira looked at him. "You are brave. Or foolish. Maybe both. But I begin to see why the bond happened." For the first time, Alira stood closer to him, not out of duty, but choice. She did not smile, but her eyes were softer. The bond, once unwanted, had started to change them both. And far away in the shadows of the palace, someone watched them with hate in their eyes. The Iron Scale would not stay silent for long. The night air was cool as guests filled the royal hall. A grand feast was prepared to show peace between Thalvara and Earth. Bright lights shone on the tables. Food from many planets was served. Everyone wore their finest clothes. Alex sat beside Alira, feeling the weight of many eyes on him. Tried to stay calm, but he knew trouble could come at any time. The threat from the Iron Scale still hung in the air. Guards stood at every door, watching for signs of danger. Alira looked strong as always, but Alex could see her hand resting near her weapon. A Thalvaran noble raised a glass to the bond between Princess Alira and her human mate. May peace last forever. Many cheered, but not all. A few guests stayed silent. Some watched with hard eyes. Alex noticed one man slip something under the table. Suddenly the lights flickered. Then a loud sound rang out. A sharp object flew through the air. It was aimed at Alex. Before he could move, Alira jumped from her seat and blocked the attack with her arm. The weapon hit her armor and fell to the floor. Guards rushed in, and the hall exploded in panic. "Stay close," Alira said to Alex, pulling him behind a column. Another attacker threw smoke into the hall. Vision became blurry. Alex coughed, trying to stay on his feet. Alira fought off two masked figures. She moved like a warrior, fast and strong. Alex grabbed a metal rod from the floor. He saw one attacker coming toward Alira from behind. Without thinking, he rushed forward and struck the enemy hard. The attacker fell. Alira looked back and saw him. She gave a short nod. "We have to get out," she said. "This place is not safe." They ran through the smoke, past the broken tables and frightened guests. Guards shouted as they tried to control the chaos. Illyra led Alex through a hidden door behind the throne. The door opened into a dark tunnel. They ran for minutes without stopping. The tunnel led to the outer forest, far from the palace. When they reached a quiet spot, they stopped to rest. Illyra checked her wound. It was small, but bleeding. Alex tore a piece of his shirt and tied it around her arm. "You saved me." "Thank you. I had to," she said. "If you die, the bond ends. I would be blamed." "Is that the only reason?" Alex asked. Illyra looked at him.
Else.
Her face was calm, but her eyes were not cold. "Maybe not," she said softly. They built a small fire. The forest was peaceful, but they stayed alert. Illyra showed Alex how to listen for danger. He listened carefully, following her lead. As the night passed, they talked more. Illyra told him about her childhood, about the training, and the pressure of being the next ruler. Alex shared his life on Earth. He spoke of his family, his job, and how he never thought he would end up on an alien world. They laughed a little. The wall between them was not gone, but it had cracks now. In the morning, they continued through the forest. They met a group of strange beings hiding in the trees. At first, Alex thought they were enemies, but Illyra raised her hand. "They are rebels," she said. "Not all follow the queen." The rebels looked at Alex with interest. One of them, a woman named Kale, stepped forward. "You are the human husband," Alex nodded. "Yes, but not by choice." Kale smiled. "Yet you are still here. That means something." They invited Alex and Illyra to their camp. There, the rebels told them the truth. The queen had planned the bonding from the start. She believed it would make her rule stronger. The iron scale was a danger, but the queen used their threat to push her own plan. Illyra was angry, so she used me. She made me a tool. "And me too," Alex said. Kale offered to help them. "We do not trust the queen, but we believe in you. Maybe your bond, though forced, can become something real." Illyra looked at Alex. He looked back at her. For the first time, they were not just two strangers. They were two people who had been used. Now they had a reason to stand together. The journey back to the palace would not be easy, but they were no longer alone. And for the first time, they were not running from the bond. They were ready to fight for it. Illyra and Alex stayed with the rebels for 2 more days. In that time, they listened, learned, and planned. The forest was safe, but they both knew they could not hide forever. The truth had changed everything. The queen had used them both. Now they had to return and face her. Kale and the rebels gave them old maps and a secret path to the palace. Illyra promised them, "If we take the throne, I will not forget your help." As they prepared to leave, Kale placed her hand on Alex's shoulder. "Many here didn't trust humans before, but now they talk about your courage. Keep that fire burning." The journey back was slow. They avoided roads and moved at night. Alex grew stronger. His steps were more steady. He listened to Illyra and helped guide the way. Her silence was no longer cold. It was full of understanding. When they reached the edge of the city, the streets were tense. Soldiers were everywhere. The Iron Scale had claimed responsibility for the attack. The Queen had ordered full control. People lived in fear. Illyra and Alex entered through the hidden tunnel again. It led them into the lower halls of the palace. From there, they moved quietly toward the central chamber where the Queen and Council waited. A guard saw them. He raised his weapon, but Illyra stepped forward. "We are not enemies. Take us to the Queen." Now, the guard, surprised to see her alive, obeyed. Word spread fast. By the time they entered the chamber, the Queen and all her advisors were waiting. "Illyra," the Queen said, "you are safe." "I feared the worst." Illyra didn't bow. "Did you fear your plan failed? You used me. You used him. You pushed us into a bond without care." The Queen stood. "I did what was needed for peace. Our people needed unity." Alex stepped forward. "Unity through lies is not peace. I came here in good faith. You turned me into a tool," the council murmured. Some looked away. Others nodded. Illyra raised her voice. "The people are scared. Yeah, the Iron Scale grows because you rule through fear. That ends now." "What do you suggest?" the Queen asked. "Let the people decide," Illyra said. "We will speak in the Grand Square. No more secrets. No more control from the shadows. The queen hesitated, then agreed. Very well, let them hear your truth. That night, the square filled with people. Screens showed the image across the city. Lyra stood tall, dressed not in royal robes, but in simple armor. Alex stood beside her. She spoke first. My bond with Alex began without my choice. I was angry. I felt trapped. But in these past days, I saw his heart. He did not run. He stood beside me. Not as a ruler, but as a person. The crowd listened in silence. Alex stepped forward. I never wanted to be part of your world like this. But now I am. And I care. Not because of the bond, but because of what I've seen. You are strong, proud, and worth fighting for. But fear and force will not lead to peace. Respect will. A few people in the crowd began to cheer. More followed. Soon the whole square echoed with voices. The queen stood in the shadows watching. The next day, the council met again. Lyra stood before them. I will not break the bond, not because of law, but because I choose it. I choose to walk with him, not because I must, but because I believe in what we can become. Some of the council still resisted, but the people's voice was strong. They supported Lyra. The queen stepped down. She placed her crown before Lyra. Lead with truth, daughter. The people are yours. Lyra took the crown and turned to Alex. We began as a mistake. We will rise as something real. Together, they walked to the royal balcony. Below, the people cheered. For the first time, it was not for tradition, it was for hope. In the sky above, ships from Earth sent a message of peace. A new chapter had begun. One that no one had planned, but one that would shape the future of both worlds. Weeks passed since Lyra became queen. The city began to change. The streets were no longer filled with fear. Soldiers helped the people instead of watching them with cold eyes. Walls were cleaned. Homes were repaired. The colors of Thalvara returned. Alex worked beside Lyra every day. He was not called king, but people respected him. He gave ideas for water systems, helped fix broken machines, and listened when people spoke. He never acted like a ruler. He acted like a man who cared. Lyra sat in council meetings with her head held high. She made hard choices, but she listened more than she ordered. When people disagreed, she did not shout. She asked questions. Even those who once hated her bond with Alex began to support her. One morning, a message came from Earth. A large ship had entered Thalvaron space. It carried ambassadors, scientists, and supplies. They came not to rule, but to join. Lyra met the humans at the landing site. She wore the royal armor, but not the crown. Alex stood beside her, smiling as he saw old friends from Earth. The Earth ambassador, a woman named Laura Davis, stepped forward. Queen Lyra, thank you for welcoming us. Bring peace and knowledge. We hope to learn as much as we share. Lyra nodded, and let this be the first day of real unity. Talks between Earth and Thalvara began. New trade paths opened. Schools were planned. A shared research station was built in orbit. For the first time, both sides worked as equals. One night, Lyra and Alex stood on the palace balcony, looking at the stars. Do you still think I was a problem? Lax asked with a smile. Lyra looked at him. You were. But now, you are the reason this world is healing. Alex laughed. Not bad for an engineer from a small town. She touched his hand. What? Not bad at all. The next day, a group of young students from both Earth and Thalvara came to the palace. They asked questions, laughed together, and took notes. Lyra and Alex sat with them for hours. One child asked, "Is it true you didn't choose each other?" Lyra nodded. It's true. The bond was made without our wish. But the choice to stay, to trust, and to care was ours. Alex added, sometimes life surprises you, but what matters is what you do after the surprise. Later, a festival was held in the Grand Square. Lights danced in the air. Music from both worlds played. Food from Earth and Thalvara filled the tables. People danced together. No walls stood between them. At the center of the square, Lyra stood and raised her hand. This day is not just about the bond between two people. It is about the bond between two worlds. Let this bond grow not from law, but from heart. The crowd cheered. Alex stepped beside her and let no one say that peace is impossible. We are proof that it can begin with the strangest of steps. In the crowd, Kale and some of the rebels smiled. They had fought for truth, and now they saw it rise. Far above, on the edge of space, the flags of both Earth and Thalvara waved on the new station. Scientists from both worlds worked side by side, solving problems and sharing dreams. Alex and Alira returned to the palace late that night. The halls were quiet, the stars shone through the windows. Alira looked at Alex. "Do you regret any of it?" Alex shook his head. "Not a single moment." She smiled. "Then come with me. There is one more thing we must do." She led him to a small room where a simple ceremony was held. No crowds, no lights, just the two of them. They held hands. Alira said, "This time I choose, and I choose you." Lex said, "And I choose you." Their journey had started with confusion and anger, but it had led to something stronger than anyone had expected. Not just peace, not just respect, but something real. Together, they walked forward, ready to shape the stars.